Howdy, folks, and welcome to the New Favorite Things podcast, episode number 44. And we're going to talk about how you can use a combination of Google Forms and Autocrat to automatically fill in Google Docs or slides or sheet templates. And I'm going to use an example of trying to make a one-stop shop for lesson planning. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is inside of your Google Drive, you're going to want to set up a new folder. And this folder I'm going to call Lesson Plans 2021 with Team. And the idea is that all of the created documents are going to populate inside of this folder. So, excuse me. I'll edit that out later. So the idea is that all of your created documents are going to populate inside of this folder automatically. So once I create it, I'm going to share it with my team members and I'm going to give them the correct edit access. So here I'm going to share it with Danielle Parsons, Jennifer Polano, test teacher. I'm going to give all of them edit access to this. I'm going to click send. So now everything that comes in here, these people are all going to have the ability to make edits to those documents. If I were a teacher and sharing my lesson plans, I might want to share it with my direct teammates. I might want to share it with my administrator or my appraiser. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually make a template that is going to be populated. And I've made one here just for a quick resource. So this is a lesson plan template that we're pushing out to some of our teachers and some of our trainings. And it's pretty simple: audience, topic, TEAC, what's the instructional model, basically what's your agenda for the class, and then some ways to evaluate and distinguish how is your lesson being collaborative or creative or think critically or have communication skills. What are some digital and physical tools? What is the method of assessment that you're using? And then here's a section where my administrator can provide feedback back to me. So the big key here is putting in these tags. The way that Autocrat works, it's going to look for these tags, which are going to start with the less than signs and then finish with the greater than signs. And an easy way to do it is make sure that what's in between those tags matches up exactly with a Google form. And it's going to be a Google form, but it's Google Sheets. I'll explain that in a second. So I've got my copy of my lesson plan template. I'm going to come in here and create my Google form. You can do this in a way that works for you guys, but these are just some examples of quick things that we're pushing out to teachers tomorrow in a training. But here's my lesson plan template, and you'll see that audience here is going to match with audience here. And then so I'm going to change that to just be date, because date is going to match with date right there. So I'm going to fill out an example of this. I'm going to have my date be Monday. My audience is going to be 9th grade biology students. My topic is going to be structures of the cell. I can put in my exact TEAC if I've got that in my resources. Copy that directly in. Now my instructional model. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes on a warm-up activity, and then I can put in my link to that warm-up right there. And then I'm going to do a 10-minute read, watch, reflect activity, and I can put in my resources there. Then I might do, let's say, a 15-minute web quest activity where students are actively searching for something, followed by maybe a 10-minute share out, and then we're going to end with a 5-minute exit ticket. Nothing super crazy, but those are my steps for my instructional model. The next part, how is this collaborative? I'm going to have students working together on the web quest. Students will create a diagram of the cell for the exit ticket. Students are searching for answers in the web quest. Students are having to summarize the information in their own words. Tools that are required, I'm going to have my warm-up activity link. Then I'm going to have my web quest link. and then I might have my exit ticket link. Those could all be templates in Google Drawings or Google Forms. Physical tools, I don't think I've got anything that I'd be using there. And then my assessment would be students will create a diagram of the cell using Google Jamboard. And I'm going to click submit. So I have this, it lives inside of my Google Drive. When I go into my Google form, I've got a response here, and all Google Forms can create a spreadsheet of the responses. So I'm going to go ahead and create that spreadsheet. This is super important because even though Autocrat works with Google Forms, it really works with Google Sheets. So here's what it's going to look like. I've got all of my answers right here, but I'm going to come up here to where it says add-ons. And if yours doesn't have Autocrat already listed, you would just click on Get Add-ons and then search for Autocrat. But I'm going to go ahead and launch Autocrat. So Autocrat pulls up. I'm going to create a new job for Autocrat to populate here. I'm going to name this job Lesson Plans 2021. Click Next. Now here's where I'm going to identify the template that I'm using. So that's my lesson plan template here that has my tags on it. So I'm going to come into my drive. And I'm going to search for it. Actually, it's right there because it's a recent document. So I'm going to select that. It's the copy of lesson plan template. Selected, maybe. There it goes. So now it's going to identify those tags and it's going to map them to certain columns. So I'm just going to double check to make sure that everything has something that's being mapped to and from. If it didn't, it would say like no input or something like that, but everything matches up. I'm going to click next. And here's where I'm going to get a little tricky. I'm going to name it lesson plan, and then I'm going to include another tag and I'm going to put date. So now when I submit a lesson plan for June 6th, it'll name it lesson plan June 6th, lesson plan June 7th. And I'm going to have it export as a Google Doc. Multiple output, meaning that every single time I submit, it creates a new Google Doc. Click next. And here's where I'm going to choose the folder that I picked earlier. So I created a folder that I shared with all of my teammates, and that was called Lesson Plans 2021 with Team. So I come in here, I think that's it right there, Lesson Plans 2021 with Team. I select that. So now it's going to dump all of my lesson plans into this folder with my teammates. I click next. I don't want a dynamic folder reference. I don't want a merge condition. Do I want to share or send this doc? Maybe I want to share this doc and I want to share it with maybe my teammates each time. So test.teacher@granburyisd.org. Maybe I wanted to share it with danielle.parsons@granburyisd.org. Okay. And it's going to say lesson plan, and I'm going to have the subject be the date, and then she'll receive the link with that document as well. I'm going to CC myself in this. Run on form trigger, yes. Confirm. So now anytime that a Google form is submitted, it's going to create that document. And then I'm going to click save. So here I go, I'm going to press play on it, which is going to already create one of these documents that I've already done. So I'm going to press play. And then if you slide all the way over, it's going to create these extra columns out here. It takes a little bit of time depending on how many rows you already have. But for this one, it shouldn't take more than a couple seconds. So here we go. It's named it Lesson Plan 6/7/2021. When I go into this folder, I've got a lesson plan sitting in there. So I can click on that. And now it has put in all of my information automatically. I didn't have to put that in myself. It's pulling from one location and going into another location. I can also look into my email, and I can see that I received an email with that Google form. So it's going to have sent me an email notifying me that the lesson plan has been filled out. All of my teammates have edit access to this document. And if Danielle were my appraiser, she can now go in and she can give me those notes that I want as a teacher to know that A, my lesson plans are being looked at, and B, that my administrator is giving me that feedback. You can also have your team set it up on that collecting Google Sheet. If they want to be notified via email anytime one of these has been submitted, they come in here to data, to tools, and then they go to notification rules and notify me anytime a change is made and right away. So now anytime that there is a submission that's been made, I get an email saying that it's going to be right there. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you can get to the point where you are able to take custom templates and create a Google form and then create the merger with Autocrat. I think this is super useful for things like administrator walkthrough forms where they can send the information immediately to the teacher and not have to follow up with them later via email. Hope this was helpful. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Coach Polano and at Pirate Tech Trio, and we'll see you next.